Hello everyone and welcome into the Fallout Shelter, and yes, it appears everything is working. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're all doing well like Legend King of Storms. Yes, I'm surviving here, Legend King of Storms, doing better than I probably should be. Hey there, Cinder Loner. Shadow ban for posting. I don't know much about David Wilkerson, but I absolutely believe it's important to fortify your strongholds in Jesus Christ right now. Rhonda Rare Breeds, much love to you guys. Stephanie, much love to you. 10 and 2, hands on the wheel, no chatting today. Paris, Elbrin Good, and Scott Free, what's up? Good to see you guys. Much love to you all. Appreciate you all. I haven't been able to get around a lot. I'll share a little something with y'all that I've shared with D-Live when I've got there lately. I've spent a lot of hours working. I work in a facility that it's considered a retirement facility, and one side of it is called primary living and the other side's called assisted living. Well, the majority of my work in the past 2 years has been in the assisted living facility, and it's basically like a nursing home side. And they know how I feel. I'm very vocal, I'm very open about all of it. And I kind of, with all this Delta variant stuff going on, and I'm not going to get into that stuff here, I'll talk more about it at D-Live. But with all that going on, I was like, you know what, I need to hustle and get as much of the work that they have lined out done as I can done. And sure enough, I got like probably 11 out of 15 rooms completed, and the 4 that aren't completed, they're about half completed. And I got that text yesterday afternoon that building had been locked down, and which actually was probably just a happy thing for me. They probably didn't want everybody to know because they want to try to surprise you when you get there. No, I got a little text beforehand from a good friend that said, "Hey, that building's been shut down. They're going to be there tomorrow with all their testing and crap. You might not want to come to work." So I said, "That's fine with me. I got something that I've been needing to bring to YouTube anyway." And I'm sure, since they hit on everything else, they won't like this either. But we're going to get right into it. I've been hanging on to this story for a while. Let me get this down here. Well, I got to leave that there for a minute. Let's see, a dog named Boo. Welcome in. Victoria, welcome in. Good to see all you guys. I've had this study. Let me get it up here where I can see it for a second. And I got to move it around a little bit where I can see you guys too. I have the chat covered up right now, and that's not helping me none at all. None at all. Not really prepared, guys, but I really never am. So there we go. I have a study here, and it is 1,086 pages long that I want to talk to y'all about. No, I'm not fixing to read this study. We're going to go over the abstract, and the links for it are in the descriptions. And I suggest this is the type of reading when you don't have a whole lot of other things going on that you take and you read for yourself, because I think this is very important information in what we're dealing with in the sea of frequencies. Not a problem, Legend, not a problem. Very welcome. You know what, the thing about this is, well, it's just the way I got to do it today. I'm only on one monitor, and to be able to keep up with y'all and this, I'm just going to have to share it like this right here. Oh, there we go. Okay, this is an article that was printed by a man named Ronald N. Kostoff, PhD. Well, the first thing that you always get anytime you put up anything that's anti-medication, anti-frequency, or anything in the negative toward their great money makers, you get that the person doing it is a quack. Well, I have both of these links in the description, so you can go check these out for yourself. This is the personal background on Ronald Kostoff as found at the National Institute of Health.gov website. Hey there, Moto J, good to see you. It says, personal background. I received a PhD in aerospace and mechanical sciences from Princeton University in 1967 and subsequently worked for Bell Laboratories, Department of Energy, Office of Naval Research, and MITRE Corp. I have published over 200 peer-reviewed articles, served as guest editor of 4 journal special issues since 1994, obtained 2 text mining system patents, and presently am a research affiliate at the Georgia Institute of Technology. Guys, this guy got a pretty good resume. You know, it's a little better than I'm a painter construction guy from Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? I have published on numerous medical topics. Numerous medical topics this man's published on and been peer reviewed. Potential treatment for multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's and Raynaud's phenomenon, cataracts, SARS, vitreous restoration, chronic kidney disease, potential causes of chronic kidney disease and Alzheimer's disease, and potential impacts of electromagnetic fields on health. I am listed in the Who's Who in America, 60th edition, Who's Who in Science and Engineering, 9th edition, 2,000 Outstanding Intellectuals of the 21st Century. This guy, I don't know if he's in the clubs now, but he was in the clubs at one time. Thinking maybe all of his research that he done on all of this stuff here may have led him to some things. I told people, I don't know if I've told y'all here at YouTube, but over on D-Live I've told them if a doctor would start reviewing all these ailments from the fact of poisonous frequencies, that's what I'm going to call them, the radiation, I think they would actually start to find out where this stuff comes from. But as we know, they probably already know. That's how they know how to mask it with all these medications. That's why they give you things like Lamictal, and they give you things like Neurontin, and they give you all of these high-powered nerve killers, because what it does is it really just stops your nerves from picking up the signals at the skin the exact same way it stops your nerves from working and sending your brain the signal that you have pain. Anyway, back to Ronald Kostoff. That is his resume, and it's listed, so you can click on it in the description and find it. Okay, he wrote a paper, and this paper is 1,086 pages long. Links are down there. This paper was got from smarttech.georgiatech.edu. I didn't pull it from anywhere else. I pulled it from the college's database. Unethical research. Oh, that's the keywords. I'm going to skip the keywords. He's Ronald N. Kostoff, PhD, Research Affiliate, School of Public Policy, the Georgia Institute of Technology. Now, I'm going to read the abstract straight out, just exactly like it is. Now, I wasn't exactly sure what a monograph was until I got this, but what it basically is his research paper. This monograph describes the largest unethical medical experiment in human history, the implementation and operation of non-ionizing, non-visible EMF radiation, hereafter called wireless radiation, infrastructure for communication, surveillance, weaponry, and other applications. It is unethical because it violates the key ethical medical experiment requirement for informed consent by the overwhelming majority of the participants. Now let me explain something to y'all. Really to y'all. All of these gifts that they're giving out now for people who will take the lollipop, and if you don't know what the lollipop is, somebody in the chat will text it for you. It's that V word. But if they'll give you beer and weed and chances to win money, you are giving your consent. Whether it's informed or not, they're going to call it informed in this day and age. You'd lose that in a court of law because you took the prize. You took the bait. You took and did everything else. Informed consent is what we're doing out here on the truther channels. Informed consent. Y'all never heard me, well, y'all heard me say my family's not getting any of it, and I don't think y'all should either. But I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you advice. I'm telling you, a lot of people have to go places and they do get, I'm not against that. I'm pro-informed consent in every situation. If you make a decision to do something, at least do it on the basis that you know what's going on. That's the reason we put out FDA papers, material safety data sheets, product data sheets, so many different things that are going that they come out with. That there's actually a truth there, and it's not hard to find. It's found in simple Google searches. The monograph provides every time I keep going back to that, don't I? The monograph provides background on unethical medical research experimentation and frames the implementation of wireless radiation within that context. The monograph then identifies a wide spectrum of adverse effects of wireless radiation as reported in the premier biomedical literature for over 7 decades. 70 years. Adverse effects of the wide spectrum of adverse effects of wireless radiation as reported for over 7 decades. We don't see them reports. The doctor's seen those reports. And now that we have the internet, this report right here, it's another disclosure. This is a PhD from Georgia Tech. From Georgia Tech. This guy's the real deal. So this right here could be just as easily them going, we put out studies. If you didn't go read them, it's on you. So share this study. I don't care. Look, guys, I don't watch my videos. I don't like them. I can't listen to myself. I don't watch myself. That's just it. Not that I think it's bad. I just don't like to do it. So once these are done, they're done. I don't care if you share the video. I don't care if you share me out. Because like I said, quite frankly, I don't like to watch it. But what needs to happen is this study needs to be passed around. This study needs to hit Twitter. This study needs to hit everywhere. Share this study everywhere you can, because even if it is disclosure, it's disclosure that people can use. My opinion. The monograph then identified over 7 decades, even though many of these reported adverse effects are extremely severe, the true extent of their severity, look y'all, has been grossly underestimated. Hey there, humble disciples. Oh, hey guys, I'm fixing to do something real quick because humble disciples, you are now a moderator. I want you to drop your link in this channel. Now, for most of you guys, y'all know I'm not a huge rap music fan. But these guys are doing awesome things for the Lord, and they're doing it on their own, and they're really putting out some good stuff, guys. So I want Humble to share his link in the description. If you guys want to check them out, check them out. They're doing good things for the Father. Most of the reported laboratory experiments that produce these effects are not reflective of the real-life environment in which wireless radiation operates. Okay, I'm not a educated guy, okay? I haven't sat in schools and all that, but what I think my father teaching me to build stuff as a child and taking things away and taking things apart, it helps you to see the puzzles and the pictures of how things are built. Oh. He says here that the true extent of their severity has been grossly underestimated. Now, I even talked about this with somebody yesterday. I said, look, if you've got a cell phone that's emitting a safe amount of radiation according to the government, and then if you have I have a cell phone that's emitting radiation, and then if you have your Wi-Fi on your computer that's emitting the safe level of radiation for a human, and then your computer's communicating with your printer's got a safe wireless deal, and then you got the signal that comes in to operate your internet. By the time you get through with just the signals that were in that one room, and then you got to include, we were at a job site, so they had walkie-talkies, two-way radios, using the radio frequency band too. So if you could paint those frequencies, if you could give them a solid color, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. So when you get into a real world setting where each item, such as your smart meter, such as your smart fridge, such as your smartphone, such as your dumb car, all of these things emitting these signals, at what point do we get a saturation, and at what point do we get a a compounded signal that is burning us. Most of the reported laboratory experiments that produce these effects are not reflective of the real-life environment in which wireless radiation operates. Many experiments do not include pulsing and modulation of the carrier signal, and most do not account for synergistic effects of other toxic stimuli acting in concert with the wireless radiation. These two additions greatly exacerbate the severity of the adverse effects from wireless radiation, and their neglect in current and past experimentation results in substantial underestimation of the breadth and severity of adverse effects to be expected in a real-life situation. The lack of credible safety testing. Okay, pay attention. This lack of credible safety testing, combined with depriving the public of the opportunity to provide informed consent, contextualizes the wireless radiation infrastructure operation as an unethical medical experiment. Once again, for those of you that are just coming in, the man who wrote this paper received a PhD in aerospace and mechanical sciences from Princeton. He has worked for Bell Laboratories, the Department of Energy, the Office of Naval Research, and MITRE Corp. 200 peer-reviewed articles, and now is a research affiliate at the Georgia Institute of Technology. He has published peer-reviewed literature on potential treatments for MS, Parkinson's, Raynaud's, cataracts, SARS, vitreous, and chronic kidney. All of those in this sentence right here, I'm highlighting that y'all can see. I have found all of those in individual reports, and I'm going to bet that's what led him to this field of study. And I'm so happy as a person right now. And when I first found this, even if it is you got one of two things. This was either written to be a piece to put out and go, okay, this is your informed consent. People don't read it, they don't read it. But maybe, just maybe he was a real scientist, a real doctor, and as he was finding these problems, he really looked for the solution and stepped out on a limb and wrote this paper. I had a tough time. I'm surprised I hadn't come across this yet. It was only written in like 2020. Anyway, the man that worked for the Department of Energy and the Office of Naval Research says that the lack of credible safety testing, combined with depriving the public of the opportunity to provide informed consent, contextualizes the wireless radiation infrastructure operation as an unethical medical experiment. Okay, I got one more thing I'm going to do. Anytime I come across the word, and y'all will understand this, I know that most everybody that watches me, you probably watch Montegraph. I watch Montegraph. I like Montegraph. I don't chat in there a lot because a lot of times I'm laying in the bed trying to go to sleep. He comes on late for Mississippi time. But I'm going to change the word monograph to this paper just so that there's no confusion. Because I always see, I get comments, you talking about Monty? No, they're just calling this paper a monograph. And my southern twang turns it into monograph. I can't help that. I don't know what y'all are talking about right now, but I do know that I'm taking, I take 3 to 5 drops of the X2 iodine, actually, that come from Alex Jones. And I quit taking it for about a month and a half, and I started feeling horrible again and got back into no energy and hurting really bad. And then I started to take that potassium, I was reading potassium, took that iodine again, and I'm already feeling better. So, we'll take that as how it goes. Where did I go? This paper consists of 4 chapters and 8 appendices. Chapter 1 focuses on unethical research, showing how wireless radiation infrastructure implementation fits into the largest unethical medical experiment in human history. Wow, I might just have to make this a series and we go through the whole paper, because let me tell you guys, I know one thing. As hard as it would be for me to read, 1,086 pages. It'd be hard for you guys to read 1,086 pages. So what we may do is take some time now that I'm looking at it. We're just going to start through this, and when I get tired, we'll stop and yeah. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of things, but that don't change that a lot of the information that comes out is good. Black magic, heretic. Got quite a few people on my prayer list, just put it that way. Been some changes made too. But then again, I got emails telling me that I was a Freemason because I had on like a certain color shirt and I made a hand signal. I sent them a letter back and said, whatever, take it how you want. We're not in the day and age where that's a problem. We got to protect ourselves from these frequencies. We got to protect ourselves from dirty air. We got to protect ourselves from dirty water. And we've got to have good food. Oh, I get that. Just saying. But, some of the best information that I found in my Christian walk, I found in the dark side. Just saying. Yeah, and I don't know. I think... I take what I like this. I don't expect you guys to believe me for nothing. You shouldn't. You shouldn't trust me. You shouldn't trust anyone that you watch on YouTube. YouTube is not research. Me finding this paper and me reading this paper and then using that paper to better my family is what I'm here to do. When I find it, I share it with you. I suggest you read it, put it to your own stuff, and do it on your own. YouTube videos are not research. They are places to start your journey. And then after you start your journey, you get into quit looking in the news documents, quit looking at MSN, quit looking at Fox, and start looking at edus, .govs. I'm even super careful about anything that's .org. I don't always like it because it always has a swing to it. But anyway, all that. Like who you like. There's a ton of people I know that they like, who is it? They like Dane Whittington for geoengineering. And there's a ton of people that like Jim Lee for geoengineering. I've learned a lot from both of them. Don't never dismiss a person because of what somebody else says about them. Make them tell it to your face. Anyway, moving on. Freemasons run the world, Shadowban. Let me show y'all something real quick. Let me show y'all my Freemason research. Because the Father has blessed me tremendously here lately. I haven't bought any of these. I have a 1952 Masonic hardback Bible that was in a temple on the cube. I have that Bible. It is put up. I don't have it out right now. But I did just receive, and I hope y'all can see this. I haven't shared this here. I'm going to mess up the screen for a minute. Here you go. This right here is, and I'm going to open it up and read the first page to y'all. I got this book a couple of weeks ago. And it is, I hope y'all can see this because I can't see the camera. History of Freemasonry. Albert Gallatin Mackey and William R. Singleton. Volume 1, published in 1892. This is where I study the Freemasons, and I have found differences in this book right here. This is a hardback version of Morals and Dogma from the 1950s. And I share some stuff with this on a lot of times because what I have found is the words that are in this hardback book sometimes are different on the ones that you look up online and they get a they change. The words are different. Anyway, they're better in the books. The books are real, and I can find the differences online. That is what runs the world. Let me give you all a little quick and we'll get back to the frequencies. If you take the numbers 1 through 33 and you add them together, 1 plus 2 equals 3. 3 plus 3 equals 6. 6 plus 4 equals 10. And you go all the way through to number 33, okay? That's your 33 numbers of masonry. Above masonry, you have the 13. And you can call that the Illuminati. You can call it the upper echelon of masonry. Call it the 97th degree, like the evilest man that ever lived did, Crowley. He considered himself a 97th degree OTO Freemason. I forgot what I was going with that. It seems like I always forget stuff when I start talking about that, like it just hits me in the head. So anyway, 13, okay, and 14 is representation of the number of their God on the top. If you add all those numbers together, you come up with 666. Anyway, moving on. Largest unethical medical experiment in human history. Take 2. Where was I at? This paper consists of 4 chapters. Chapter 2 is the main technical chapter, focusing on the adverse health effects of wireless radiation. It describes adverse effects from past research and what additional adverse effects can be expected when 5G is implemented fully. You know, kind of like what happened in Wuhan, China in December of 2019. Just saying, because anybody that's been watching me on D-Live very long knows I've went over that a lot. If you go to Xinhua.net and go back to December, that's the Chinese propaganda, the Chinese news channel. They said 10,000 towers were fired up in Wuhan in December. Now, that doesn't mean that they caused what's going on, but it absolutely does mean that they could have an effect on what's going on. Because we've shown that if you go back a couple of videos on YouTube here, or live streams, however they're listed, whatever, I'm not real sure. If you go back, we did a millimeter wave therapy and immunosuppression. You need to go take a peek at that one. It'll help explain a lot about frequency and the that everybody thinks is crazy. Have a great day, Humble. Much love to you. And anybody that's come in. I miss people. Radical, Ryan, good to see you. Going camping, good for you, brother. Tam, Chicken Patty, Lady M. Much love to all you guys. Viking Mop. Cheryl, Mary, Philly. Doopsie Daisy. Good to see all you guys. Welcome in. I think I seen Marty up there. Black Magic Heretic. Oops. Well, I goofed that up. It happens. I lost a monitor, guys, so I'm doing this with one monitor, and I done got used to 2, and it just messed me all up. So, let's see, what else does it say about it? It's just telling you what the chapters contain right now, so I guess if we're going to do this whole thing, we need to go over it. Chapter 3 contains the references for the main text. Appendix 1 presents more details about unethical medical experiments. Appendix 2 contains a manual taxonomy of a representative adverse EM. This is a pretty good paper. I should have paid more attention to it before now, I guess. Hey, Timsy. Redneck waving back. Shows the potential contributor of wireless radiation to the opioid crisis. I've talked about that before I ever read that here. Wow. My D-Live guys, do y'all remember me talking about, we talk about opioid problems in the immunosuppression and the millimeter wave therapies. This is going to be we're going to all be more educated. This is going to be a YouTube thing so we can have it here and they'll save it. These are citations. And look, all I've read is a little abstract and introduction so far. That's not any of the stuff. Yeah, sure, Ron. I don't care. I know who you are. Okay. Some of you guys, if you're having trouble with the app on DLive, just go to your browser and copy the link and put it in your browser. And a lot of people have been doing it that way. It is getting better. They're making updates all the time, but in them updates are going to start to come. They're going to start to come more censorship, and the more money that gets into DLive, the more commercials it gets, the more censorship. It's going to be a roll. But right now, I can still talk about anything I want to talk about because I don't get nasty, I don't get dirty, and they've not slammed me at all. I just have the mature thing tagged, and it's done that way. All right, I'm gonna read the preface here. I'm trying to find my. I thought I brought my water in here with me. There's one. Humanity is racing along two parallel paths to self-destruction: accelerating irreversible climate change and rapidly increasing exposure to health and life-threatening mixtures of toxic stimuli. The most ubiquitous constituent of these toxin mixtures is wireless radiation, which is proceeding to blanket humanity and its ecological life support chain. Okay, you guys know that I have like this ADD thing and it's hard for me to stay on topic. So I just read something in there. Have y'all seen the news about the moon? Yes, according to the news, and I think I have this story up. If I do, we will just go take a look at it. That's it right here. This is a study, and it is not in the, I didn't intend on talking about it yet, but since it is not in the description, I will throw it into the chat real quick. And you guys will have the link to it for those playing along and keeping score at home. Okay. Abstract. Coastal locations around the United States, particularly along the Atlantic coast, are experiencing recurrent flooding at a high tide. Continued sea level rise will exacerbate the issue where present, and many more locations will begin to experience recurrent high tide flooding in the coming decades. Here we established SLR scenarios and flooding thresholds to demonstrate how the combined effects of SLR and nodal cycle modulations of tidal amplitude lead to acute inflection, blah, 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 blah. This is a study that if you follow it, we have a wobble in the moon. Okay? There's a rapid increase coming, and I don't know, I had a story that went along with this. And I don't know what happened to it. It's just gone. So there was be watching for DLive or maybe on another here. I'm going to try to get back to where I was at. Oh, no, doopsie daisy. That's a, my bad. I'm being sarcastic about the ADD. It's just that I can't stay on topic because there's so much that I don't get in here to talk about sometimes. Oh, I can actually focus pretty well on a topic, on a thing at hand if I need to. My bad. I forget I'm not at DLive sometimes. Most of them guys over there, they know the sarcasm and the irony of what I'm going to say. Anyway, the moon's going to wobble. And when the moon wobbles, it's going to cause a lot of flooding between 2030 and 2040. Which means get ready for something crazy to start making it flood between 2030 and 2040. Let me get back to our regular thing. Our regular programming for today. Preface. Let me try to remember and focus. 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 Okay, let's make sure. Humanity is racing along two parallel paths to self-destruction. accelerating irreversible climate change, and rapidly increasing exposure to health and life-threatening mixtures of toxic stimuli. The most ubiquitous constituent of these toxic mixtures is wireless radiation, which is proceeding to blanket humanity and its ecological life support chain. Like I said, if you could put a color to it, you wouldn't be able to see it. A small fraction of the population has given informed consent to wireless radiation exposure, gambling, like users of cigarettes, cocaine, fentanyl, and they can escape the severe adverse consequences of exposure. Another small fraction of the population has not given informed consent, but receives harmful secondhand exposure because of the broad-scale transmission of wireless radiation from terrestrial and satellite sources. The vast majority of the population has given misinformed consent to this exposure. The misinformation is supplied by the telecommunications industry, its lobbyists, its government partners, its political enablers, its marketing arm, and even some academic enablers. All right, I'm not going to be able to stop. There's just a lot of things that's going to go along with this. The Great Reset, right now, Build Back Better, Agenda 21 to Agenda 30. The telecommunications industry, its lobbyists, and its government partners. This is a real good version of what stakeholder capitalism is. It is your government organizations partnering with corporations to make the decisions for your life. Now, they tell you you still have a representative, your elected congressman and your elected representative will still be your representative. They will just be your representative voice in Washington. You mean kind of like they're my representative voice right now? No, they are not my representative voice, and I don't think they speak for 90% of hard-working, and I'm going to go worldwide on this. Look at what's going on right now around the world. Countries are standing up. People are standing up, and they're saying enough. When is that going to happen in this country? When is it going to happen here? That we have enough and we stand up. That's what's got to come. Now, if you don't understand stakeholder capitalism, well, our government actually is working on a piece of legislation to introduce right now so that the federal government takes over control of your credit score and not an independent company anymore. Okay, no more independent credit score. The government's got that under control. But they've also partnered with Wall Street and BlackRock. If you don't know what BlackRock is, you really need to look that up. I don't have time to start on them. They have included this little thing that is now called an ESG score. It's environmental, social, governmental. So in order for a company to have a good ESG score, they've got to be green, they've got to be social, and not social as in what we think is good. They got to be social toward all of these weirdo things that are going on. The XYLMNOP, men that think they're women, women that think they're men. You know, do I have one or don't I? Or today I identify as a Camaro. I don't know. Told a cop the other day I identified as a guy who wasn't speeding. He didn't buy it, but I told him. While research over the past 70 years has shown hard evidence of severe adverse effects from wireless radiation, the full extent of the damage from existing wireless radiation infrastructure is not known, much less the damage expected from 4G, 5G infrastructure being implemented rapidly today. Attempting to identify the full extent of these adverse effects is the global medical experiment being conducted today. The fact that the experiment is being conducted with misinformed consent makes it an unethical medical experiment. Because of the magnitude of this experiment, it is the largest unethical medical experiment in human history. This is the words of a man who is a PhD in aerospace mechanical sciences, worked for Bell Laboratories, Department of Energy, Office of Naval Research, MITRE Corporation, 200 peer-reviewed articles, and guest editor for the journal, guest editor of 4 journal special issues since 1994, and is currently a research affiliate at Georgia Institute of Technology. Ronald Kostoff. We need to make that man's name famous. Ronald Kostoff. And he may not think so, but the people who are in this communications fight, who are against this type of frequencies, they need their hands on this information, because people who are smarter can do way more with it than I can. All I can do is share it, scream it as a computer, and go, hey, somebody do something with this. I'm trying to share it. Oh, where am I at? Lost my spot. Attempting to identify the full extent. Oh, I read that. Chapter 1 of this paper presents the case for wireless radiation infrastructure without credible safety testing being not only an unethical medical experiment, but the largest in human history. It presents wireless radiation infrastructure implementation in the context of other recent examples of unethical medical experiments, and shows how these other pale in comparison to the projected suffering and lethality from wireless radiation exposure based on even the incomplete biomedical data gathered to date. I'm going to tell y'all something. Reading this paper, they really appear, and this is like the first 3 or 4 pages, it appears to me like they're trying to drive home a point. Like, I try to drive home a real point of how dangerous, how unethical. If you want somebody to remember something, you repeat it over and over and over and over, and they will remember it, whether they want to or not. We can't help it. Our brain just works that way. That's why the repeating signals in electronics, the hertz signals, the flashes, that's why we can be programmed that way. So when they're reading, or we're reading, or I'm reading, every time they can say, let me read the word again exactly. It says, unethical medical experiment, lethality. Okay, that is mentioned 4 times in one paragraph, just one paragraph, which means they're trying to beat it into your brain just exactly how unethical a medical experiment is going on. Chapter 2 is the main technical chapter in this paper. It covers a broad scope of adverse health and life-supporting ecological effects from wireless radiation, mainly at communications frequencies. Some of these adverse effects are not well known to the general public, but they are important nevertheless. Well, we're going to make them known to however many people see this anyway. While the majority of the chapter is technical, its initial section provides the context for evaluating the biomedical literature results. In particular, it emphasizes the conflicts of interest operable in all aspects of the wireless radiation biomedical research process, ranging from the initial health effects research sponsorship to the final research results dissemination in the premier technical literature in other forms. So when we get to chapter 2, we will be looking at the technical part. Now when we get to, it says additionally there are 8 appendices. The copious material contained in the appendices supports the statements made in the main text, which means this should be full of every piece of information that we should need dealing with what he wrote here. You don't usually get. Yeah, I'm scrolling down. I want to overview on. Y'all, this is going to be a long series. Got a feeling I know what I'll be talking about at YouTube for a while, as long as they don't start to censor this. Pretty much just this. We'll talk about the 1984 stuff on DLive. Just look, hey guys, I want to tell y'all why, in case some of y'all don't know. I got a medical misinformation, another one from Mr. YouTube, and I did get a response. Anything that goes against the United Nations World Health Organization, doesn't matter how well peer-reviewed doctor scientists they are, if it goes against the World Health Organization, United Nations, it is deemed medical misinformation by YouTube, period. That was what I was told. So I'm just not going to talk about it too much here. Maybe stick it up in the middle of some other things, but I like to be able to keep up with you guys, and one or two more of those and a small channel disappears. There is no rebuilding that. I just did get started in time it looked like to try to build anything anyway, because YouTube is not making it easy. Oh, where was I at? 3 sub-appendices, while grounded in hard evidence, are somewhat more hypothetical than the rest. They include linkages between wireless radiation exposure and exacerbation of the opioid crisis and the coronavirus pandemic. Check that out. This guy's not a quack. And potentially enhancing heating and temperature increases to thermally damaging levels from short RF pulses and tissue-embedded nanoparticles. Oh, wait a minute. Tissue-embedded nanoparticles. Oh my gosh, I should have read this sooner. But I did have a well, this looks like it's going to be really, really interesting, guys. Finally, it is my hope that this paper receives the widest distribution, especially among those who have been the targets of this decade-long misinformation campaign, and 2, given their consent to wireless radiation exposure based upon misinformation. It is this segment of the public whose informed actions could reverse an increasing implementation of wireless radiation infrastructure and prevent the infliction of even more damage, since the other stakeholders involved in the promotion of wireless radiation infrastructure have shown little desire to protect the public against the known and projected ravages of wireless radiation. And if you go look back at the last live stream I done, it looks at magnetic nanopowder for the use with 6G. And we're talking about tissue-embedded nanoparticles, RF pulses here. Guys, this is going to be... Amy, I see the word graphene. I've got a lot of stuff I'm reading about graphene right now, too. So, yes. And that gets us to the table of contents. And that's almost an hour. So I'm going to stop on the table of contents, and tomorrow I will probably come up and we will start the executive summary. But you have the link. It's in the description. If you want to go ahead and get a head start, the reason I'm doing this one at YouTube is so that it'll have a record of it. It'll be on, at D-Live the streams are only up for 20 days or so, and then they rotate out. They go away, and unless it's just like super important, I don't keep it, because I just do a lot of news type stuff there from places like Fizz.org, and sometimes I get the mainstream stuff and laugh about it and pick on it or scream about it if they made me mad. But I'm sorry, I was reading something. The adverse wireless radiation health effects that have been identified already from the incomplete literature open availably are massive in scope and magnitude. They support the conclusion that wireless radiation is already implemented is extremely dangerous to human health. I just had an idea. And I have no way to prove this. This is just an idea. I think this fellow right here, Ronald Kostoff, Dr. I think that's what I called you. Dr. Ronald N. Kostoff, if you ever actually happen to see this at this point, or if anybody happens to know Dr. Kostoff, I would like to know if something happened to someone in his family, without details, where he started to look into this in this manner, because that's what usually leads us into these type of leads us into these type of situations. Something happens to us, and a lot of us are awake and aware, and we live our life that way, but we're not really into this lifestyle. We're not part of the group, and there's a lot of people out there like that. When you talk to them one-on-one in the stores or in the streets, and you can start to get that from some of them. And now a lot of that is with me living in the South, where we kind of have to be self-sufficient anyway. That's a little different. I've noticed it's different talking to different people in different places, and not just so much Mississippi. Just go from the city to the country, go from rural to suburban to city dwelling, and the whole demeanor changes of what people can do, how much they can do for themselves. And I just live in the stick, so here's kind of how it is sometimes. I apologize to you guys for not bringing this out already. I've been so busy at work, and I didn't realize this was going to be as good as it was. I had read the abstract, and I kept it up, and through all the times that I've lost my histories I've actually kept going back and finding this one, and I'm glad I did. Now we at least have the links in YouTube. I will get this link into Discord. It will be under research links, and yeah. So this is a guy right here. I have had really nobody that I would be interested in talking to, because I'm just not that guy. I'm not the, I like to have some friends on and chat with them, but as far as interviewing, I don't know that I'm a good interviewer. But I would love to have a conversation with this guy, and really I'd like to ask him some questions about his life, more than just his, maybe, we'll see. Once again, I'm going to change the screen thing and go back to the Hawks there, so I can pull this down and change my screen back a little bit. And then I can tell you guys what I had on my mind, if I can get my ADD under control. That's a joke. Well, I say it's a joke. My wife might not think it's a joke, so I don't really know. Anyway. Tomorrow about lunchtime, or somehow in this time, I might do chapter 1 or 2, or I'm thinking I might not go to work at all tomorrow, just taking the day off. I may come back to YouTube tonight and do a nighttime YouTube stream after the D-Live stream. We'll just have to see. Now I'm going to do something that I very rarely do. And this is one y'all probably should know. I do have a backup channel. It has 42 subscribers. 42, you hear me? 42. It's called the Fallout Shelter News. It's a channel that I thought at one point in time I might actually just do some, I don't know, maybe some sarcastic, cynical, satirical news. But it looks like it might just be a place to back up to if medical misinformation smacks this one. Link is in the description. If you are a racing fan and you have any interest at all in watching somebody when they ever get a chance to do any online iRacing or simulated racing, I do that sometimes. I have a link in the description for that for my YouTube channel, where it has like 3 videos, and I think I did 1 stream. I very rarely get stuff to go to it, but in order to be able to do this more and more, I've got to find ways to take care of my family and do this more and more. That's about the only way I can put it. So I am not going to, let me just leave that right there. We'll go into that later. Those links are down there if you're interested in them, to get to those 2 channels. I will share the video game channel, or whatever you want to call it, on D-Live, because I didn't put it in the thing and I don't have a clue what it is. Not because I don't want to, I just can't right now. I did this in a big hurry. So yeah, but now the most important thing we do every time we come together to help with these frequencies, to help with the sea of everything, because our Father spoke it all into existence with the big frequency when He said, "Let there be." And so He can absolutely, I have some information coming on that too, Amy, in acetyl cysteine, and there's another thing that starts with a Q that I've been looking into. Thank you, Tam Tam. Now I got 45. And keep a watch, because that is the backup channel. That will be, if I ever happen to go down, that's where I'll pop up and go, all right, we'll try it again. Because I don't know if y'all know this, I would have never got any building on this channel whatsoever. So right here, right now, I forgot to do it. I need to do it first. A guy named Daniel from Logic Before Authority. I have no idea who he is. I've never communicated with him. I didn't even know the channel existed. Shared a video of ours. It took us from about 2,300 subscribers up to about 2,500. Thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that I seen your content, because I like what you do, and I really do appreciate it. Any of you guys, if you happen to have come from Logic Before Authority, I appreciate you guys being here. And you can't find it in a search, T. Luke. You're going to have to hit the link in the description. You cannot find it in a search. I couldn't even find it myself. So yeah, Daniel, Logic Before Authority, thank you so much. And I don't know if he still listens, if he's ever back there and he finds out. Richie, brother, I appreciate what you did for me a long time ago, because this channel would have never made it anywhere without that help from you and from Dana. I appreciate that. I really do. Love you, brother. If you happen to hear it. So I'm going to leave that there. And then we're going to do what I come here to do. It don't matter what we talk about, what we go through. You're always going to have a tyrannical government trying to put a boot on your throat. Jesus said, I have overcome. I have overcome. You're going to have troubles. You're going to have trials. You're going to have tribulation. And if you love me, it's going to be even worse. But you're not laying up your treasures for this earthly life. You're laying up your treasures in heaven. You're laying up your treasures in the spiritual realm. So even when people are coming against you in your physical life, when they're coming against you with all of these frequencies without your consent, our Father knows it. He sees that. And He helps us through it, especially when we call on Him. And He'll give us the strength and the energy to make it through each day. And He will give us what we need, because He has overcome the world. That's the reason I pray at the end of every stream. I get a comment every now and then about, you pray in your closet. This is our closet. This is as private a group as you can get. I don't care if it's 20 people or 2,000. This is our prayer closet. We're not out trying to look good to the world. We are right now coming together as followers and fellowship. We can't all get together and eat meals like it's called for together, but what we can do is meet here, chat, have good times, and then talk to the Father. So I don't end without prayer. I'm unapologetic for doing so. I love Jesus, and I'm easy to say it. So I don't just pound it down throughout the whole thing, because I think the information is important for everybody, and I don't want to just run them off. I'm not going to lie to you about it. I am a Christian that's putting out worldly information, but then praying over it at the end. That is our hope. That is why we don't have fear in what's going on. That's the reason we do our best to keep our head up when we're out in this world and everybody else has their mask on, looking down at the ground, dejected, beaten, and I'm walking around with my head up whistling, and people are like, how can you do that? And I'm like, turn off your TV. Turn off the news. Look up to your Father and say, lead my life today. Give me that full armor that you provide daily. Give me that energy. Give me that strength. and give me the ability to open my mouth and say what needs to be said. And I felt like one night I was led to pray, and that was the hardest thing I've ever done, is pray with people on here, because I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that kind of guy, really. So anyway, yeah. If anybody has a request right now, put it in the chat. I'm not going to lie to y'all, at YouTube, I have trouble seeing the chat, and I'm on a little bit smaller screen now than I used to be. If I miss it, we know the Father sees it. That's the important thing. Make every day the best, people. Every day. And look, I stay hurt. I stay beat down. I lived a life that destroyed the temple. Guess what? The wages of sin is death. Well, death isn't just a thing. Death is drawn out sometimes, sickening. Destroying of the temple takes years. I did things to myself when I was younger that I'm sure that I've got problems for now. And I thank God that I'm alive, though, and then problems remind me not to go back and do those things again. Absolutely, Tam, I've been down that road. I have a place in my heart for that right there. You guys are awesome. I want y'all to know. It don't matter. I don't know the numbers. I don't care. I don't keep up with them. But every time I do get to look over into the chat, there are very, very few times that there's anything negative happening in this chat. And usually it works itself out pretty quick anyway. We're blessed. And I think, like Pastor Bob said, you are blessed, so go and be a blessing. I like Pastor Bob. If y'all don't know who Pastor Bob is, you ought to check him out too. Still in the queue. Oh, left, yeah. Your family still believe that Trump's going to be put back in as a president? I can't even say that without laughing. Oh, I started to think that maybe Mike Lindell got back on the cocaine. Y'all know Mike Lindell, the man who invented the best pillow ever, was a cocaine addict. You know, the wired up, geeked up, freaked out man, come up with the best way to go to sleep. Oh, Adam. See, and then there's always somebody like Adam or Gutta when Gutta's around that says, pray for our adversaries and pray for our enemies. And dadgummit, they're right. And I don't want them to be sometimes. See, I'm not perfect. I'm not even trying to lie to y'all that I'm perfect. And they know they do that to me. They type those things in there because they know that that's just something I will forget to do. All right, let me go back. I know I want to make sure I got them right, so I don't forget them. Tam. That's what I thought. And then I seen Victoria. Okay. And guys, if you have anything else, put it in there, and God sees it. Father, we thank you for allowing us to come together today. We thank you for this time of fellowship with other believers. We thank you for giving us a place where, from different walks of life, from all over the world, we can come together as one family, created by the ultimate Father, Creator in heaven, and able to come directly to the Father because of the Son. Father, I'm asking you today to be with Tam and that family. Father, that's a situation that it puts a toll on so many. And from being there, sometimes we never know. So, Father, I'm praying that you send the Holy Spirit for divine intervention. Fill that girl's heart with love and care and compassion. And when those feelings are there of emptiness, and the desire for things are coming back. I ask you to fill her heart like you did mine. It helped me so much. I ask you to be with her every moment, every minute, and even when there are slips, I pray that you'll keep the angels of safety around her. With people praying for her, she'll come back. And I thank you for that, Father, in Jesus' name. Father, I ask you to be with Victoria's family who are still blinded. I don't even know what to call that, by just flat out evil. I ask you that somehow you open up their eyes to see the light. Let the Holy Spirit reveal to them in some way exactly what it is that's going on. And let your glory be shown through it. And let souls be brought to the kingdom for it. In Jesus' name. And Father, all of our enemies, Father, I know you say that we battle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities and wickedness in the high places. Father, I pray that you continue through everything that we do to keep it on our hearts and our minds that no matter how evil the thing an individual does, that it is evil leading it, and the individual is still your child. Father, I pray that all of these people who want to do us harm in any kind of way, that you reveal yourself to them so that they're able to make that choice, so that when their time comes, whatever their choice was, it was clear. And Father, I pray that you open up the eyes of some of those high-powered individuals so that they could turn around and become help to us. If there was anybody else or Father that had anything in there, I pray that you see it, you send the Holy Spirit to be with them, comfort them, protect them, and love them. And just make them know that when they turn around and they only see one set of footprints, that they don't even have to question it, that they know that's when you were carrying them. And it's when I know you were carrying me. I thank you for your Son Christ, who came and preached the gospel, took that beating so I could pray to you for healing, died on that cross, and through your power the veil was rent in the temple and the door was open, so that no longer did I have to deal with any man, but I could come straight to my Father in heaven. And I thank you for it all in your Son's precious name. Well, I guess that's about it. All right, guys. I'm going to... I can't make promises because now with that building closing, I may end up taking on some other odd jobs, and it may really mess up a schedule forever. So be looking. I really like to stream at YouTube between 12, 1 or 2 o'clock. It's the best time I get to do it. But I really want to get this information out. So be looking for it just in case I do it at an odd time. I'm doing it so the videos will go up. But share this out. Not my video. You don't have to share my video. Share that document. Go get the link out of the description and share that document everywhere you can. Everybody, not just truthers. Your person that works at your convenience store needs to read this. Your mom needs to read this. Your dad needs to read this. Your children need to read this. The people working for the telephone communication companies need to read this. All right. Well, that's it. Normally at YouTube, at D-Live, I'd play "Love is gonna find a way." Look, there you go, Ron. That's it. That's it. That's all you're getting. That's it. Because that song, I've tried it. It is just too hard, If we ended with "A Country Boy Can Survive" or Curtis Lowe or something like that, something where raspy's not a bad thing, maybe so. But but love is going to find a way. No, not even a younger Fallout probably pulled that off in any kind of way that didn't break your ears. Oh, but just remember, love is going to find a way. And that's about the best that we're going to get right there. I love you all. I appreciate you all. And remember, love God, love your neighbor, love yourself. And it's all going to fall in line. And I will either see y'all back here tonight or on D-Live tonight. And we'll do it some more. I love you guys. Have a great evening, morning, afternoon, whatever the case may be, wherever you're at. And as Pastor Bob, the heavy metal pastor, says, you're blessed. So go and be a blessing.